Indeed, the pharmaceutical sector is one of the greatest pillars of the strongest pillars of the Greek economy. Practically contributing as the main exporter is one of the three largest exporting goods, or exporter of goods in the European and international economy, and that contributes heavily to the in Greece, both with the immediate contribution, the immediate financial contribution, but as well as job creations, especially during the financial crisis of Greece for the last decade, is one of the largest and largest growth sectors in our country. And for this reason, practically, we see a significant investment opportunity, attracting significant FDIs as well in the country, with significant success cases such as Pharmathen, where we have been practically focusing on the international operations and focusing on developing pharmaceutical products and exporting know-how and pharmaceutical products in the global market. That has been the strong pillar, and the reason for that starts a bit historical, where practically Greece 20-25 years ago had some advantages compared with other European countries, as an accession country, with the intellectual property. So that gave a head start practically for the certain pharmaceutical companies. Further on, practically, the pharmaceutical sector has invested significantly over the last years in expanding its infrastructure, in upgrading its infrastructure to international standards, and also attracting talent and creating talent in order to increase its R&D and its innovation. That has been the pillars practically of the significant growth. And today, pharmaceutical industry represents one of the strongest sectors in Greece, and having an international operation, expanding in more than 85 countries, where practically Pharmathen is one of the key and leaders exporters on that. It is worth to mention that in the general macro environment, for every 1% that our exports increase in Greece, that contributes an increase of 4% on our GDP. So that the internationalization of our operations, where pharmaceuticals is a key pillar, proves the gravity of the sector for Greece. And Pharmathen, as a standalone, controls almost 1% of the total Greek exports. When we're talking about generics, I'll try not going into the technical detailing what is a generic product, and I'll go more on the fiscal importance of generics. So generic is the fiscal balance of every country in order to control the growth of pharmaceutical expenditure. So when new products, things are developing, medicines are progressing, therapies are resolved, which is very key and important for increasing our life expectancy. So in this respect, that comes along with a high cost of R&D for new chemical entities and new therapies. The generics practically is the counterbalance to that. So we're talking about equivalent products which, after the patent has expired, it's the same product, much more cost efficient, that comes into the market and provides to the countries the ability to reduce their budget on traditional therapies. So this is exactly the importance of generics. R&D in generics, investing in generics and generic products is not a copy product, and that has to be fully clarified. It comes with severe research and development activities behind that. So the importance of R&D is very crucial, because in the absence of research and development departments, which can provide creativity, can provide the necessary research elements, there won't be the results, the expected results, both for the companies as well as for the governments itself. For Pharmathen, practically, we are investing in excess of 35 million on an annual level in research and development of both on the generic side, but as well as novel therapies, because that's the natural evolution that was the natural evolution of our company. We started with developing, with having heavy R&D focused on generics, and the last years we have gradually moved into developing new therapeutic platforms and drug delivery systems, which practically enhance the patient compliance, enhance the use of products by patients in a global scale. So these provides practically solutions to unmet needs, to unmet diseases, both for patients as well as for companies. BC Partners has taken a major step in investing in Pharmathen back in 2015. And if we all take a step back and remember what was 2015 for Greece, it was a hell year. with all the wrong things happening practically, with political volatility, with capital controls. So what others have seen, or what others could have seen as a no-go opportunity, for BC practically, what they have seen is a company with vast potential and vast operational efficiency and international organization that can move into the next level. And this was exactly the opportunity that BC Partners invested. It was one as you recall, it was one of the largest FDIs in Greece, attracted for the last 10 years, and a major pharma company practically that has developed, that was an international operation and has enhanced its operation. So with the partnership with BC, we have practically had the ability to invest further into R&D, as we have done in the last years. For the next 3 years, we have released in excess of 120 million investments in research and development of new therapeutic platforms and new products to be developed in our labs to further enhance our international operations and international growth. This is exactly the opportunity that BC Partners has seen while investing in Pharmathen, and it's exactly what practically we believe there is true element of opportunity in Greece, looking in an entrepreneurial way. There are companies within the country that have the international activity, that have the ability to go to enhance their operations, and it can be considered a significant investment opportunity for that. R&D, as we said before, is the pillar practically of a development for, especially for pharmaceutical companies, and needs to be the pillar of that. In order to have an R&D organization, that needs to be, it's not an action. It's not a business unit. It needs to be within the DNA of the company. It needs to be incorporated within the DNA of the company. And I believe that this is one of the major successes we have as Pharmathen, we have managed as Pharmathen. It is a corporate DNA. It's not just a BU, it's not a cost center. And unfortunately, in the crisis of the last years, during the financial crisis of the last years, both the first element, which practically we've seen especially on the South countries, being trimmed was R&D expenditure, which we all understand the reasons for that. In a way of a financial crisis, you have to manage your means and you have to look. But practically, as long as practically companies have the ability to have access in capital, R&D is the last resource that should be considered as cost element. And on the contrary, it should be considered as an investment element, and investment priority, so that it practically gives the next generation of products, the next generation of technologies to manage to overcome the financial cycle that your country or your region is following. And I believe that today what we're seeing as companies doing exceptionally well in Old South are companies that have somehow invested in R&D, have somehow creativity and differentiation of their products or services. That is what exactly provides the ability of growth to the companies. To have access to capital, I have to say, that has not been an easy case when it comes in countries which have been tantalized by the financial crisis that we've been the last 10 years. But nevertheless, there are always means, there are always opportunities that we can, as entrepreneurs, can get on board and manage to have our business plan completed. Be bold. Don't stay back. Move forward and do what you have in mind. Don't take a look back. Have a leap of faith and take the jump in all means. Because especially today, we are seeing an environment, we're living in an environment where practically things are changing a lot, and a lot will change even more in the next years. So what we're seeing today as forces, as dynamics of a market, it will be slightly differentiated, either from heavily differentiated up to slightly differentiated in all sectors. That will create opportunities. That will require new forces, new alliances to be created. So keep on dreaming, keep on executing, move forward. Pharmathen is an international company, and we have a strong Greek DNA within our organization, and that is something which we feel proud for, and we shall retain as a strong pillar in our operations. Over the next years, 5 years practically, we have released an investment plan in excess of 60 million euro in our facilities, both in Athens as well as in the northern part of Greece, in expanding and enhancing our Greek facilities. We are an international company with a strong basis in Greece. That is a key pillar to our organization, which will always remain a big flag. It's what we're saying, an international company with its heart beating in Greece. Staying focused is one of the main principles of every entrepreneurial activity. So practically today Pharmathen is 90% of the profitability of the company is coming from the international operations, and hence in developing and exporting and licensing out and partnering with more than 85 countries of the world, with more than 200 partners across the globe, all the blue chip pharma companies. So our strategic decision was to keep Pharmathen focused practically on the international operations. Hence the Greek operations, the Greek B2C operations were decided to be divested in order to provide to Pharmathen the overall execution efficiency to stay focused in growing the international operations across the globe, in becoming one of the largest pharmaceutical companies and one of the key providers of pharmaceutical technologies and generic products on a global scale. The FDA approval of our facilities practically has been a major step forward in the execution of our business plan. US is one of the largest markets where we are already present for the last 3 years, but practically with our facilities being approved in the US gives us the ability to further enhance our operation, to further contribute to our growth. The FDA approval comes practically as is the tip of the iceberg, practically, because the overall operations which is behind has to do with the long-acting injectables, which is one of our unique technologies which the company has developed over the last years, having invested a dozen of billions in bringing this technology to completion. We have already filed long-acting injectables. Is a technology where practically we have unique to a limited monopoly in the global market, where practically we have high aspirations moving forward. So the approval of our FDA facility signals that the products are moving into the US market, and brings us a step closer to launching the first phase of products, the first wave of products into the US, which will significantly contribute to Pharmathen. Moving forward, practically, we have much more products to file. We've already filed 2 products with the FDA, and there are another 6 products scheduled for filing within within 2018, and we have much more plans to roll out for the US market.